Finally, I finally got an offer for my app Virally that I posted for sale on acquire.com almost 4 months ago. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my experience from posting the app for sale to approving all the NDAs and getting ghosted to finally landing my first offer. So acquire.com is an awesome website for anyone, big or small, to buy and sell SaaS products. So Virally was a product that I built back in October of 2022. I was one of the first AI-powered applications in the App Store. I noticed that there was a gap in the market where everyone was talking about AI, and Jasper AI and Copy AI were one of the most top AI-powered products. And I noticed that there were small gaps. And so the gap that I saw was that social media creators like myself struggled to come up with content ideas. So I built a very niche AI SaaS product using FLUTTERFLOW that wrapped around the ChatGPT API. Actually, back then it wasn't even the ChatGPT API. It was the GPT-3 Da Vinci model. So this one was not nearly as sophisticated, and it costed a lot more money to actually run this model. So I quickly built this wrapper around GPT technology and then targeted a very small niche. And my niche was TikTok creators, because at the time I was creating a lot of TikTok videos and I saw that this was a huge pain point for creators. So I built this really niche use case and then put the app up on the store. I had downloads overnight because I was ranking really, really high for AI viral social media or go viral faster, social media content ideas. There were so many high intent keywords that I was ranking really high for, and that was just because of how well I was able to position my product on the App Store. As a matter of fact, here's what the listing looks like. And with over 10 years of app development experience and helping scale PrizePicks from 10,000 users to millions of users and hundreds of millions in revenue, I knew all the ingredients for building a successful app and getting it to convert at a high rate. So I put together these screenshots. I was able to rank it very high for like AI social media coach. And then with the AI boom, it just completely took off and I started generating a ton of revenue. I think the most I've gotten this up to was about $2,000. And now it, I think, generates anywhere between $500 and $700 a month, which clears my Tesla Model Y payment. And honestly, it's pretty awesome cash just to have hitting the bank. And the best part is that this app is an asset that I can actually sell as a business. And so I want to disclose that I do have a little bit more experience than the first time, builder. As a first generation American immigrant, my father and my parents have worked in small businesses. They've been buying and selling grocery stores for the entirety of their careers. And given that I'm the first generation American, there was a lot of times where I'm translating those contracts, those agreements. Sometimes we were dealing with native English speakers and my parents were second language English speakers. So I've had a ton of experience like buying and selling like grocery stores. And most recently back in 2020, we acquired a grocery store that was doing 7 figures that I actually handled end-to-end all the paperwork for, handled all the due diligence, all the finances, all the escrow, the asset transfers, the license transfers. So like I have a ton of experience with small business acquisitions, and I've also negotiated the sale of 7-figure software companies. So this one was something that I definitely had a good grip on. I wasn't going into this completely blind, even though it's software and my experience was with other types of products. The overall premise is the same. You want to make sure you do your due diligence. You want to make sure you actually market your app for sale. That's something that a lot of business owners don't do. Like even when my father would be interested in selling his business, he would just come to the dinner table and say, hey, yeah, I'm interested in selling my store. He would say that to our family, but if you don't go out to the market and actually broadcast and generate demand for that business, the business is not worth anything. The business is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. And in order to actually achieve that value, you need to generate demand. And you generate demand for a business the same way you would generate demand for selling a product. You would market it, tell people about it, put your own passion behind it and tell people why that business is great, how it can grow faster, what you would do differently. And you want to be genuine. There's too many people on acquire.com. There's too many people trying to sell businesses of all types, and they're hiding a lot of stuff. There's always stuff about a business that's ugly, and a good acquirer and a good seller will disclose those things in the beginning or during the due diligence and negotiations. Like when we were buying and selling grocery stores, my dad would always ask, all right, like, what's the one thing that you hate and that you need to scare me about? Or like, what are 3 things that you know that I need to know that you think will scare me just know that I'm still interested in the deal. I'm not going to get scared. I really want you to be honest and tell me what exactly I need to know. When my dad was buying a grocery store, people would tell him like, there's some homeless people that come by. Turns out there was a lot of homeless people. And that became a problem because of, theft and other things. And that's a whole different scenario. But you want to ask those same types of questions. So the person who gave me an offer for Virally asked me like, hey, what are some things I should know about Virally that you, scratch your head over that keep you up at night? And the main thing about Virally that I think people need to know is that I've detached it from FlutterFlow. Like I built the basis of it in FlutterFlow. There's some custom backend that I wrote with Node.js. And so whoever acquires this product can't expect to just live inside of FlutterFlow. They need to be able to push and pull to GitHub, understand the GitHub branching strategy that FlutterFlow offers with GitHub's integration. And so I told the acquirer like, hey, you need to be really good at git merge, and git rebase. If you don't know those 3 Git concepts, you're not going to be successful. But other than that, if you know a little bit of Node.js, you know about how to wrap APIs and make requests, this app is perfect. It's all built in FlutterFlow, connects to Firebase, and there's one very small Node.js REST API server that all the AI calls are running through. I showed him all my growth plans, showed him all the UI that I had designed. I had so many ideas for this app actually already designed, like a post tracker and a bunch of other like integrated features where I wanted to do TikTok auth and a bunch of other stuff that I won't share. But I pretty much gave him everything. And I said, hey, like this is exactly what, I would do. This is what I don't like about the product. And this is where I think you could take it. And I was very genuine about it. However, in order to even get this offer and get to that point, I had to generate the demand and actually get people through the sales process. So initially when I posted the app for sale, I would wake up every day and I would see my inbox slammed with what's called NDA requests. So someone who's interested in your startup will send you a request to sign an NDA. NDA stands for non-disclosure agreement. And essentially what they do is they send you a request, you accept the request. That request means that you both agree not to disclose any of the information. And what happens is you make all your startup's metrics available to them, your revenue, all the other information that you put in, the link to the actual application, and you pretty much show them everything under the hood of the application. And so at first I was stoked. I would just go in and approve all of these NDA requests. And then weeks later, I found that I was just getting ghosted. People were looking under the hood and walking away. And this actually happens a ton in big acquisitions as well, where like a huge whale will want to come in to buy a small fish. This actually happened to me at one of my startups. A huge whale would come in to buy a small fish. They'd be like, hey, we're willing to buy you. We're excited about it. But we need to do our due diligence and crack open the hood and interview all your employees and figure out everything about the business. So people do that just to crack open and show their big guns and be like, yo, we're actually not interested, but we just cracked your whole business open. We're going to give you a dinky offer. And boom, like it's just super predatory. And this happens all the time in all types of business mergers and acquisitions. It's an entire industry in its own. And this happens on acquire.com as well. So I learned that the hard way and gave dozens of people access to my startup. But then what I did is I was like, nah, like I'm not going to let these people take advantage of me. I'm going to start creating a sales funnel out of this. So then I started sending these messages like, hey there, I'm happy to show you all the details at once during a due diligence call. I'm sure you can understand an app like this would get a lot of traction. My inbox is quite full. Here's what I'm asking potential buyers. Use this Calendly link to book a due diligence meeting with me. Then I would send a link to a Calendly. I did get a couple calls here and there. People would come to the call, they'd ask questions, they'd leave, ghost me. Sometimes conversations would go forward. But then what I did is later on, I started a new iteration of this funnel process where I said, hey, due to the flagging demand, I put together this Loom video going over the key details for an app. If you're excited about purchasing this app from me, please use the link to book a call. Then what I did is I created a Loom video where I go over this presentation called Virally App Disclosure. And this whole concept of disclosures, is relevant in real estate and commercial properties and stuff that I've seen with my experience helping my family run their businesses. Like when you go to loopnet.com and you try to acquire like a pizza shop, they typically give you a disclosure document. Or when you go to acquire a piece of real estate, the real estate agent can request a disclosure document. That disclosure document tells you everything about that piece of real estate or the commercial property. Typically it's a brochure. Sometimes it's a legal document that says like, hey, there's been mold here, there's seepage here, and it pretty much has to, by law, indicate any known faults around the business or real estate. So I did something very similar where I created a presentation that I go through all the metrics, all the, overview of Virally, its metrics, its finances, what my vision was, who I am, how I built the app, what the architecture is, how much revenue is it doing, my growth plans, what's all included in the sale, because it wasn't just an app. It was like a database of all the users. It was, all the UI designs that I put together. It was all the notes that I have. I even had a survey in here where I was asking users for feedback. So I'm giving access to that survey's responses. There's over 100 responses from customers in there. And I know the acquirer would want to have that data so that they can make informed decisions about where to take the app next. So yeah, tech stack, monetization strategies, the support I was willing to give. I literally offered this person a spot in Dreams into Apps 2.0 just for purchasing my product, just for purchasing my app from me, just so I could give them all the support from my coaches, myself, and just be there for them, give them the content. And I think he was really excited about being able to learn about no-code SaaS and being able to scale it up at the same time. I told him about the due diligence because you want to be very careful about due diligence. Like, if someone's willing to buy your app, they have to be willing to take some risk. That's why they're buying your app. So too many times entrepreneurs don't do too much due diligence, and they answer every single question, and they try to make the buyer as comfortable as possible. Like, yes, you want to make the buyer comfortable, but you also need them to take on risk. If you show them everything about the app, they're going to end up adopting the same mindset as you and be wanting to sell the app before they even buy it, right? So due diligence is a short period. It has to be very well defined. Like, you have to say, you get access to the Firebase database for 24 hours. You get access to the FLUTTERFLOW code base through a Zoom session with me where I'll do whatever you want for 20 minutes. You have to clearly define what does due diligence look like and that you need a transaction to occur when those criterion are hit, right? You can indicate what you think are opportunities for growth, and the person on the other end will also assess your opportunities, but they also probably have their own in mind. You can tell people their opportunities for growth, what you would want to do. Like I said, I showed some of my UI designs here. I even showed them like in real time, like how many purchases I was getting on a daily basis. So in this whole presentation called the Virally App Disclosure, I was able to get 24 people to watch it. And then if people were excited about what they saw in the video, they would book a call with me. And I noticed that the quality of people just skyrocketed. Like, every time I got a message, every time I got on the phone, people were like, bro, I love that video. Like, tell me about this. You said that, I was interested in this. Like, there was so much context that was given to the buyer by watching that video. So I highly recommend that for anybody selling products. When you go through the Dreams into Apps Accelerator enrollment process, you'll actually see that we do the same thing there too. Like, we love using video. Video is the best way to provide information. It gives you that personalized feel, and honestly, like, not many people are doing it, and so it really sets you apart from the rest. So that was really how, like, I was able to generate demand for my app. And then finally, like, somebody booked a call with me after watching the video, and they were really excited, and we had an hour-long conversation. And this is what leads me to the next biggest point about an acquisition, like buyer, seller, fit. Like, you want to be a good fit for that person. That person wants to be a good fit for you. I talk to people from all over the world, all different types. I talk to like private equity people. I talk to product studios. I talk to indie people. I talk to people who just had a couple bucks in their bank account and wanted to purchase the app. But the person I ended up choosing was someone who was just like our students at Ambitious Labs, just like the other builders in our community, who was experienced in no-code SaaS, wanted to build a portfolio of passive income products, wanted something that was pre-validated with support from someone who could help them go along the path of scaling with them. They wanted to take on all the risk. They wanted to experience all the upside, but they really wanted to find a seller who wouldn't just sell them a piece of software and call it a day, but to also be alongside with them. So we were able to negotiate a pretty sweet deal where they're going to be part of our journey at Ambitious Labs. We're giving them access to the program, and they're going to be taking this and running with it. And our goal together is to go from, I think we're at somewhere around 10,000 ARR. We want to take it up to 50, 100,000 ARR. And so I think together we can do it if we apply the strategies. that we've listed out. And just know that like when you sell your business to somebody, it's kind of a short-term relationship, right? Like you're going to be working with that person for 2 months, 3 months, maybe even a year. So you want to be excited about seeing that person, working with them. Are they a good culture fit? Are they going to take your app and your business and put it in good hands? Like that was something for my dad every time he wanted to sell a grocery store or any of his businesses. Like, is the person that is going to buy it, are they going to keep it in good shape? Are they going to uphold the reputation? And when we go acquire businesses too, sometimes my dad makes offers for restaurants or small businesses, and we want to make, or the seller of that restaurant would say, no, y'all don't really have any experience in restaurants. Y'all are more grocery store people. We don't want to sell it to you. So similarly here, like I wouldn't want to sell my product to someone who might just like completely tank it. That's just my morals. It really depends on you. If you're someone who just wants the cash and wants to get out, like that's totally cool. It all depends on you, your culture, your personality, your preferences. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. So without further ado, I'll show you the offer that I got for Virally app. Okay, so I was asking for almost 3 times my annual revenue, which was around $30,000. So we ended up negotiating a bit lower than that, around 2x revenues. So we landed at 2x revenues, but I'm also giving incredible deliverables as part of the process. 6 months of dedicated support with me, our expert coaches, because they're going to be involved in Dreams into Apps. They're going to get 8 hours of one-on-one consulting for me over 3 months so that I can offboard all the access. You know, they're going to get the Figma assets, revenue cap, Firebase, all the feedback form submissions, FLUTTERFLOW. Like I said, access to our Dreams into Apps program. I'm going to introduce them to the designer who I had building the UI, the developer who was helping me with custom features, and I'm going to use our pipeline at Ambitious Labs to help him recruit any developers help that he needs over time. So overall, this was a fantastic fit. I'm super excited to be working with my new acquirer, cashing out Virally and reinvesting that money right back into more content, more programming, making Ambitious Labs bigger, and honestly just spreading the love even more, teaching more people how to build apps and going through this exact same process that I just went through. And you never know. Let's see what 2024 holds. I have a bunch of app ideas brewing myself. I'm thinking about something in the B2B SaaS space using FlutterFlow, or even an info product that's mixed with SaaS with FlutterFlow. I have a couple ideas that I have brewing for 2024. Honestly, I didn't think that I was going to get this to happen in 2023, but I'm super thankful. God bless. Very, very thankful, very, very humble. And honestly, I just feel like I need to be giving all this back out to you guys so that you guys can all go do the same thing. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe. It goes a long way for Ambitious Labs. We're super stoked about our journey together. We've been growing. We're hiring more coaches. We're growing our academy, and there's going to be way more apps that we launched through the academy that we're excited to help sell in 2024. Tons of beautiful things happening. All of our students are launching apps, generating revenue. It's never been easier with this no-code stack that we're excited about. So yeah, we hope to see you in our free Discord. Link is in the description, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.